Knives are something that we use nearly every day in our job, so it's that much more important that we pick the right one. Just because a company painted a knife black and called it tactical does not mean it's the best knife for you. When looking for a good work knife, you should concentrate on feedback from the company and the knife. Ah! Why are you here? What's up? What's up? Tactical stuff. You doing tactical stuff? Yeah? Really? Whew. What's going on? Make yourself comfortable. Did you tell them about the knife I bought? Bought an all black knife. It's tactical. I don't even have to train or anything. It does everything for me. Anytime you buy something black, it's tactical. You paint it black, it's going to be tactical. It's awesome. What? I'd just like to say how awesome this community is as far as law enforcement involved with social media. There have been so many people that have reached out and offered help. I've mentioned them before, you know, Fuzz Fam, Officer Daniels, Mike the Cop. Just yesterday, I was on FaceTime for, I don't know, maybe close to an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere around there, with Mike the Cop and Officer Daniels as they're in Tampa waiting for a friend, and they took the time to talk to me about my channel. And that's amazing. And I think that that really speaks to our brotherhood and our community and what we're here to do for each other. Speaking of that, Mike the Cop, I'm doing this for you. I know you gave me some crap about being in Ohio last night, so here's an Ohio State sweatshirt for you, buddy. The entire video. A lot of you have asked back in that first video, the Microtech video, you asked about the other knife I was talking about, the Spyderco. This video is going to concentrate on just what to look for in a good work knife. So that'll be number one. Also, I would like to talk about Spyderco's OpFocus program. A lot of people don't know about that. That's a special discount for law enforcement. I'll kind of walk you through that program. And then finally, I'll show you kind of the budget version Tenacious that I bought probably 10 years ago from Spyderco that is still an amazing knife. I said it in the Microtech video. This is a workhorse. It will last me my entire career. And when you put money into a Spyderco, you're going to get that right back with reliability. So first of all, what to look for in a work knife. Basic differences in law enforcement for work knives are your frame locks, your folders, whatever you want to call them. All of them have different locking mechanisms, but the one thing in common is they will fold. And that is the most common thing that you're going to see in a work knife for law enforcement are these folders. And as I said in the Microtech video, I don't know why, but many cops carry these Spydercos. It might be the OpFocus program. I might be totally wrong and everybody knows about it, but I figured I'd put that information out to you here a little bit later. But anyway, you have these folders and they come in all different shapes and sizes. This is the Tenacious. I bought this about 10 years ago. Sent it in for repair one time. The clip on my knife broke and I think I got it back in 3 days looking brand new. This is an amazing company, amazing knife. It'll go with you anywhere. You also have kind of these budget knives. Some of them like to call themselves tactical knives. I'm not going to get into that entire discussion, but usually what you see in a tactical knife is it's painted all black. Doesn't really make it tactical. But usually what you see in those knives is maybe a Tonto blade or some type of blade that could be used to inflict injury, which we all may have to be there at some point, unfortunately. But the main focus of your knife is likely going to be for utility, cutting things. The tactical knives tend to be a little bit dressier, a little bit more showy. Most of them will do a decent job, but they are usually on the budget end. And this is a 511. I don't know when I picked this up. I basically beat the crap out of it all the time. It has chipped and whatnot. But this would be an example of kind of a budget tactical knife. And this will do. You can throw this in your gear bag or throw it in your vest and it'll work just fine. Also, I think I've shown these plenty in the Microtech video. These are the Ultratechs. They're out the front knives, automatic knives. I've covered these ad nauseum in that first video, so we won't go over them any further. But this is what I currently carry. Amazing company, amazing knives, amazing craftsmanship. Jason McCoy, again, another shout out. An amazing dude. I follow him on Instagram and it seems like he could pretty much conquer the world. So that's a good dude. That's who you will talk to if you order these through the law enforcement program. But this is what I currently carry, and a great knife. You can go check out that Microtech video here, and I'll tell you all about it. Here's another knife I picked up at a conference. It's another 511 plastic folder. The only thing I don't like about these plastic folders, the frame is just horrible. So if you have to pry something or get into something, your frame's going to pop on you. I don't really like these plastic folders, but again, it was a giveaway at a conference, so obviously that's something that you're going to expect from a knife like that. I do see guys carry these sometimes when you go to SWAT trainings with other agencies and whatnot. I do see officers carrying them in their boots and whatnot. I'm not going to knock it. There certainly might be a time that you would use a big fixed blade like this. This is a SOG. I just don't have a use for it myself. I don't see myself using something this big that would take up that much real estate on an already crowded utility belt, or down where my feet are. I have a backup weapon there. I just don't personally have a use for it. But with that being said, this is a SOG field knife going camping. This is a very affordable knife. I'll link all these, or I'll link at least this one in the description below. This is a great knife for, being out and about, going camping or whatever. But in law enforcement, out on patrol, I don't see a huge use for it. But, you can always write in the comments, maybe you have a great use for it that nobody else knows about. I'm not going to claim to be an expert and tell you which knife you should buy. Just like I said in the Glock video, the best firearm is the firearm that you shoot the best in a given context. It's not a certain brand. It's what you do the best with that tool. So with knives, it's the same thing. This video is going to focus more on this Tenacious and just doing some video documentation of it in case anybody's interested. Like I said, this is kind of a budget model for Spyderco, but even being a budget model for Spyderco, it's an amazing knife. It's a nice, thick, meaty blade. I've never had an issue with this in the field. This is such a great knife. So this would be a great knife to kind of explore through Spyderco's OpFocus program. So the OpFocus program. This is a program designed for law enforcement, and it does give various discounts to law enforcement. You have to properly ID yourself, obviously, and they will do that through the form I'm about to show you. But it's a great program, and it's good that Spyderco does that because we buy a lot of their knives. And it's worth checking out. If you're in the market for a knife, you might as well swing on their website and see if the discount is steep enough for you as a police officer to purchase one of their knives. So let's dive into that now. All right, to find Spyderco's website, you can either type it into the address bar or just search Spyderco in your Google search. As soon as you get to the company, you'll see, just click Spyderco. When you get to this screen, this is their official web page. I don't know if there's any knockoff web pages or anything like that, but this is what their actual web page looks like. When you're on their official web page, you're just going to go to this tab up here, Resources, and slide down to OpFocus. And when you get into the OpFocus page, you'll read through here. It'll basically tell you their reasoning for giving discounts to law enforcement and military. I believe they include firefighters, EMTs, and things like that. And when you head towards the bottom here, these are the instructions you want to pay attention to. And once you sign in and get into your account, you'll go to the My Account page. There'll be some profile settings there. You'll see an OpFocus tab. You sign up for that. You select which group you're in. It's not the same across the board, but you'll see some pretty hefty price differences and sometimes just a little bit of a price difference on the different Spyderco knives. So when I'm looking into these knives for work, when I've purchased mine, the main thing I look for is the company's reputation. Also, obviously, the reviews on the knife itself, but probably those two things are the biggest factors to me. So what I look for, personally, for me, is a nice thick blade, something that I can tear into, cut a seat belt, cut into boxes, whatever I need to do. If you're on a search warrant and you need to cut into a wall for whatever purpose, just a nice, thick, meaty blade that you can kind of get in there and really dig if you need to. I do stay away from knives that advertise for self-defense. I feel like any sharp blade that extends past your hand is going to do some damage, whether it's, tactical or not. I'm not saying that they're bad at all, but that's not a huge reason for me to buy a knife. The main thing for me is the construction. So if you are prying on something, you have peace of mind knowing that this blade isn't going to come back and bite your hand. I'll do some side-by-sides between this Tenacious, even though it's their budget model, and this 511, and you'll be able to physically see the difference in the build quality between the two. It's very apparent when you look at it up close. So that's something that I look at. Just, is it a well-built knife? And really, just be comfortable with your purchase. Be comfortable with the knife that you get. If you get it on the internet and it's the first time feeling it after you purchased it, and it just doesn't fit right for you, it doesn't fit in your gear right, send it back, because that's something that you're probably going to use close to a nightly basis. You'll see in the video as well where I keep my knife. It's right here on the side of my vest. I slide it in there with the clip, kind of catching one of the Velcro loops on my exterior vest. And as I said in the Microtech video, this is a great knife, but I ended up dumping it because this was so much better of a knife for me to get it in and out of there quickly. And it just feels better because it's smaller in profile. So that's what I mean by try the knives out, make sure you like them, make sure they're what is going to work for you. So that's it for the talking portion of this video. I'm going to slide right into the video documentation of the Tenacious, just to give you an idea of just how necessary of a tool this might be for you when you throw that uniform on.